at the beginning, and it kind of triggers me to no end these days, because I really don't like, given the speed with which the Trump people are moving and how everything they're doing is fucking horrible for the country.
In this video, progressive crazy person Kyle Kulinski loses his mind after watching a clip of Andrew Schulz. What was Andrew Schulz's crime, according to Kyle Kulinski? He had the audacity to interview Bernie Sanders on his Flagrant podcast. With that, let's watch Kyle Kulinski melt down over Andrew Schulz's increasing popularity and, conversely, his fade relevance.
So I'm really curious what all you guys think of this clip, because I have some feelings, I have some thoughts on it. So Andrew Schulz had on Bernie Sanders on his show recently. And I think Bernie generally does a great job when he goes on like the Bro-y podcast. He finds a way to make leftism palatable to people who otherwise are snuggling up to the right these days. I have some critiques of how he handled that interview here and there. But broadly speaking, positive impact overall. Okay, so since that podcast, clearly Andrew Schulz has been thinking about some of the stuff he's been saying. And Charlemagne, of course, host on The Breakfast Club. He also fills in for The Daily Show from time to time. They're having a conversation here about politics, and I did not have this on my bingo card, the stuff that they end up saying here. Let's watch. Listen to this.
You know what your reflection is, and Bernie said it on Flagrant. Everybody's to fucking blame. This ain't a Democrat thing. It's not a Republican thing. This is government has failed the people. We live in a capitalist society where you got all of these motherfuckers with all the wealth. Elon Musk has more wealth than more than half of the bottom of America? Yeah. Like, come on. Yeah. Like, there's no way we live in a society that claims to be the most wealthiest society on the planet and we can't fix homelessness.
Well, in that case, the Democrats' pivot should be to go more socialist. Yeah. Which I'm fine with.
Yes, they should. That's what everybody's saying.
And that's Bernie.
That's what everybody's saying.
Because the Republican solution to what you just described is going to be
deregulating
capitalism.
All right, so first of all, let me just say, this guy right here in the bottom right corner of the screen, he's the real MVP of this video, because he just boiled it down to its pure ingredients and said, well, the answer is more socialism. The Democrats should be more socialist. So this guy's based as fuck. I love the reaction of the producer here, too. I'm going to play it for you one more time, because watch the reaction of the producer, as if to be like, obviously that's correct.
Well, in that case, the Democrats' pivot should be to go more.
So look at the guy wearing the Yankees hat. That producer. Watch.
Socialist. Yeah, which I'm fine with.
Yes, they should. That's what everybody's saying.
Bernie.
That's what everybody's saying.
Because the Republican solution to what you just described is going to be
deregulating
capitalism, deregulation.
This clip is largely correct. It's largely correct. The point that's not true.
I still don't understand exactly what a bro podcast is. I think guys like Kyle Kulinski thinks it's an insult or something. From the context they use it on, I think it's like any podcast that is masculine and all the people have above average testosterone levels. It's something sorely lacking from the left. So I think maybe they just call it that because they don't know what else to label it, because they've never really seen men before with like actual proper levels of hormones and stuff. So maybe it's just a defense mechanism on their part. Call everything that they don't like a bro, whatever, a bro podcast, a bro, whatever. It's so funny. Kyle Kulinski goes, that guy, a producer off camera, he's the MVP. It's every time I watch one of these with Brilliant Idiots podcast, that guy is the most far left socialist. Him and Kyle Kulinski would be best friends. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
Is at the beginning, and it kind of triggers me to no end these days, because I really don't like, given the speed with which the Trump people are moving and how everything they're doing is fucking horrible for the country. It is not a tenable position to say both parties are the same. That is just factually not accurate. You have under Biden, for example, he did a great job with the NLRB and union policies. He did when it came to the CHIPS Act, when it came to the Inflation Reduction Act, when it came to the infrastructure bill. They were creating 800,000 manufacturing jobs. So to say that party is the same as the one who Trump in his first term lost 200,000 manufacturing jobs, and we're losing more now. Those things are not the same, and that's just one example. Biden signed an executive order to raise the minimum wage for federal contractors and employees. It impacted hundreds of thousands of workers. Trump literally signed an executive order to revoke that and lower the pay of those people. It's not the same. Stop saying it's not the same. It's just not. And it's the lazy, like, I don't follow this stuff closely, both sidesism that triggers me to no end these days. So that very first part is not true. You have to be willing to say, yes, the Democrats are way better than the Republicans, and it's actually not particularly close. Now, having said that, do the Democrats massively fall short of where they need to be? Yes, they do. You have to say that first part, but on the second part, yes, they fall short. And there's a lot of criticisms of Biden arming and funding the genocide in Gaza, for one, but there's a bunch of them that we can make, which are really substantive criticisms. But the second part of the clip, that is undeniably accurate. And all it took was one conversation with Bernie Sanders. And now these guys are like, well, hold on. Can we do socialism? Is socialism on the menu? Can we do socialism? Can we do a massive redistribution of wealth from the robber barons and the billionaires and the plutocrats and give that money in the form of a great social safety net to working class people? Can we do universal health care? Can we do free college? Can we wipe out the medical debt? Can we wipe out the student loan debt? Can we have unionization rates and a higher minimum wage? One conversation with Bernie, and now everybody in that room is like, so actually the Democrats should become more socialist, not less socialist. And the reaction of the producer was like, yeah, let's do that. And one of them was like, I have no problem with it. And Schulz was like, yeah, that's a great idea. So I love that.
If you like watching videos like this one, like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
But here comes the main point, y'all. And I know you know it's coming. My fear is all the people, except for the producers who I think are genuine and based as fuck, but Andrew Schulz and Charlemagne, more Andrew Schulz, Charlemagne to a lesser degree. I fear he's going to go right back in the next episode and then the one after that. And for the next 2 years, 3 years, it will be more criticism of Democrats than Republicans, right? And if the Democrats were to actually do the right thing, which is go more socialist, what would they do? The right would hit you with a tsunami of propaganda and misinformation. Bernie Sanders wants to take 90 cents on every dollar you make, bro. He wants to punish success. Do you want everybody to be poor? Because that's what's going to happen under Bernie Sanders policies. And unfortunately, what I see in this podcast space so often is that so many of them get duped by conservative propaganda, where all it takes is one peep of criticism of the Democrats and one news cycle where all the Republican politicians hammer away and move the poll numbers on it. And suddenly they view it as a good faith criticism and they think, well, maybe there's some truth in what the Republicans are saying about the Democrats here. And maybe going socialist is actually not a great idea, right? Because it's Andrew Schulz. What did he say on that podcast recently? That like, I used to be a Democrat because Democrats got pussy and said whatever they want. Now it's the Republicans who get pussy and say whatever they want.
Everything that this guy says is just wrong or just stupid. He said everything Trump is doing for the country is bad. I've been pretty pleased. How about you let me know in the comments if you're upset with your vote for Donald Trump. And then he followed that up with trying to rewrite history and telling us that Joe Biden did a great job. He took out of that conversation, that clip he played with Andrew Schulz, that all of them suddenly took a giant allegiance to socialism. He's like, it was just one conversation with Bernie and now they're all socialists. And he goes, but I bet after this, he's still going to like criticize the left more than the right. I mean, if he wants to, that's fine. Like, what, did he make an oath to you in the Communist Party? Did he make an oath to you about his lifelong servitude to socialism? What are you talking about? Right-wing ideas just make more logical sense. And he goes, if they hear one criticism about the Democrats, then they'll believe it. It's like, no, dude. People just don't hear one criticism of something and then say, all right, I hate that thing. It's situation and incident and lies and cover-ups and the same things over and over and over from the Democrats. Should the American people not make decisions based on those actions? Get out of here. Let's wrap it up.
Get some pussy and tell me to say whatever I want. Like, the fucking thinking of like a 15-year-old or some shit stuck in that mindset. And so I just think it's way too easy for these people to just, boom, snap right back into what they were doing the entire Trump era so far, which is the jujitsu argument of, actually, let's focus on the Democrats and shit on them nonstop and give the Republicans largely a pass for all the shit they do. Because that's the other thing, is I never see the sort of like visceral criticism that they give to Democrats, right? Where all these podcasts are more than happy to beat up on Democrats all day, every day. They don't do 1/10 that for Trump. Like, these people don't talk all the time about Trump's crypto scam that he ran on his own supporters. They don't talk about Jared Kushner taking $2 billion from Saudi Arabia. They will talk about Hunter Biden and his Ukraine corruption, right? They will talk about Hillary Clinton and her corruption, but Trump taking $160 million from foreign governments while president, not a fucking peep, right? And so there's a focus issue here too. And I don't know. I'll ask you guys, am I being too harsh?
We want to hear from you. What do you guys think about Kyle Kulinski's rambling over Andrew Schulz interviewing Bernie Sanders? Did you get any sense that the entire studio converted to socialism? I don't know why Kyle Kulinski is holding them to such a high standard that they must be socialists forever now. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, as always, really appreciate you watching, and we will see you on the next one.